The army he heads is depleted, but it is battle-hardened, confident of its own ability to win. He can use his troops simply to ravage the countryside, keep moving, plundering, killing, taking what they want and daring someone to stop them. Or perhaps they could go for the ultimate prize. Could they actually intend to bring down the Roman state? Spartacus's intentions remain hidden from Rome. But as news arrives that he is moving south, the world's greatest city is hit by a wave of fear. All its people know is that there is a force of slaves heading their way. Suddenly, its senators feel vulnerable. And Rome's richest man, Marcus Licinius Crassus, seizes an opportunity. He knows that for the man that saves Rome, there will be honor, power, and status.
Spartacus and Crassus couldn't be more different. Spartacus has a humanitarian streak that shines out through history at us, whereas Crassus was self-serving, an aristocrat, incredibly wealthy, and a bully.
Crassus is hailed by those who know him as the most intimidating, the most powerful man in Rome. And almost everything that is written about him testifies to, if not his charisma, then his menacing and intimidating allure.
Crassus is given command. He isn't a great military leader, but he does have gold.
Crassus is the organizer. He's the brains behind. He is not a frontman.
He once declared that a man isn't truly wealthy unless he can buy his own army. And now he is true to his word. The Senate gives him 4 legions. He pays for another 6 out of his own pocket. A force of around 60,000 well-trained troops. They set out to attack Spartacus. But battle doesn't come immediately. Crassus's legions find themselves marching after an enemy that is constantly on the move. Because Spartacus still wants to avoid all-out confrontation. He bypasses Rome. He doesn't attack it. He has a new goal in mind. He wants to get to Sicily.
The only viable alternative I feel he's got at this point is to establish themselves somewhere in Italy where they remain as one.
Sicily is bandit country. Roman rule there is weak. It's a place where Spartacus could regroup, recruit, prepare himself properly to fight Crassus.
I get the impression that whatever plan Spartacus may have in mind, that this is the last throw of the dice here. He actually has nowhere else to go. There is an element of desperation in it.
Somewhere there are ships that Spartacus has hired. Handed over gold so that they will meet him here and ferry his men over the water. But the 2-mile distance across the Straits of Messina might as well be 1,000 miles. Because the realization dawns that those ships are never going to come. He has been cheated, and his army will never reach Sicily. There is no way out. And having marched so far, Spartacus and his men have trapped themselves. They've backed into a corner. Crassus advances. He has his men build a fortification 35 miles long across the whole tour of Italy. He blocks any path of escape. The two armies face each other across a no-man's land.
He's showing that he's got the time, he's got the manpower, he's got the money to contain this man until he's going to kill him.
Spartacus will not be bowed by any demonstration of Roman might. He chooses his moment, makes a gesture of his own. He drags a Roman prisoner out into the no-man's land and nails him to a cross.
Crucifixion is a punishment that is applied to slaves. Roman citizens are not crucified, and on the very, very rare occasions where we do hear of it happening, it is scandalous and shocking. So Spartacus is deliberately humiliating Rome by crucifying one of her soldiers, one of her citizens. It's not just an execution, it's a deliberate attempt to humiliate a superpower.
It's a gesture of defiance and contempt. It's designed to stir anger and hatred, not only in his enemies, but in his own side too.
What this is a moment of utter defiance. Spartacus, I think, was almost certainly outnumbered by now. I think he knows that he can't win. He's only a matter of time. We're talking days, weeks at most. Somehow he has to break through those defenses. But he just wants to show his total contempt of the military machine that he's facing.
Because this crucifixion serves as a statement from a commander to his men. It is a warning, a prophecy, a rallying cry. Fight for your lives, for your dignity. Because this is how it will end.
He can't go over the Alps, he can't go back to Sicily, he can't attack Rome. So all he can do here is try and kill Crassus or die trying.
As he has done so many times before, Spartacus prepares for combat. As a gladiator, he fought for the entertainment of his Roman masters. But for almost 2 years, he has killed Romans. Now the final killings must take place. Tens of thousands of people from all corners of the empire, united by this man into a force that had struck fear into the heart of Rome. Thousand slaves against 10 Roman legions, and at the center of it all, Spartacus. He tries to fight his way to Crassus, the enemy he has never faced. He is impossibly outnumbered. Spartacus's body will never be found. When the battle is over, the dead will be too many to count. Some say 30,000 slaves are killed, some say 60,000. And yet for Crassus, victory on the battlefield isn't enough. He feels the need for one more big gesture. He will show the world how mighty Rome is, and he will show Rome how mighty he, Crassus, has become. He crucifies slaves, 6,000 slaves, along Rome's most important highway, the Appian Way. With the lives of these men, Crassus is trying to create his own legend, to buy his place in history. And in this, at least, he fails.
Crassus wins the battle, but in a certain sense, Spartacus wins the war. Because Spartacus is our hero today. We've all heard of Spartacus. He is a legend. Whereas Crassus is most definitely an also-ran.
Crassus cannot dictate history. His name will be all but forgotten. The name of Spartacus endures.
Spartacus's legacy is that people don't have to accept what they were born with, what they've had thrust upon them. And someone can rise above this, fight, demand their rights, demand their freedom, and perhaps accomplish great things. He came very close to pulling it off.
Spartacus is a great man. I can't think of any other way to put it. He is a leader for his own time and a leader for all times. We might not understand every single decision that he made, but we know where he was coming from, we know what he stood for, and we applaud that, today perhaps more than ever.